Okay, so I said I was going to move on to our next philosopher, but I decided to do Hamlet stuff because I really like Hamlet, and I want to make more of an effort to kind of connect what Hamlet is doing to the class material. So let's take a look at Hamlet. Um, when the actors show up, Hamlet's very excited to see them. I'm on page 14 of the handout that I gave you guys, but it's like Act 3. It's in the middle. You can find it. It's the part where Hamlet's talking to the players and the actors. I think it's like Act 3, Scene 1 or something like that. So let's take a look at this. So the actors show up, and he's very excited. Welcome, Masters. Welcome all. I'm glad to see thee. Well, welcome, my good friends. Oh, my old friend. And he gets excited to see each person. Thy face is balanced. It's a complicated word. Since I last saw thee last, comest thou to beard me in Denmark? Because the actor was a young person who didn't have a beard before, and now he has a beard. There's a complicated thing in Shakespeare where characters who are the female characters were all played by young men, and so the fact that he has a beard means he used to play female characters and now he doesn't. Um, and by the way, the reason why, actually, that's relevant to what we've talked about to Plato. Um, the reason men had to play all the parts, they wouldn't let women on stage. Why? Because they thought it was bad for women to be around fiction. They thought it would derange their mind. So much time spent with fictional material would damage sensitive ladies, whatever. And so women were not allowed to act in the 1600s because of Puritans. They were like, this is an immoral place for a woman to be because fiction fills your mind with stupid shit. And it's bad for you, and it distracts you from things that matter, like God and prayers and whatever. But this is the same argument. This is Plato, right? It's Plato making that same argument about what's bad about fiction, what's bad about theater, what's bad about illusion. So one of the things Hamlet has noticed is that one of the actors has grown a beard and now is not going to be able to play female roles anymore. By your ladyship is near to heaven when I saw you last, meaning heaven's up high, so the actor is taller. Pray God your voice like a piece of uncurrent gold be not cracked within the ring. The cracked voice as a young man gets older, the voice changes and then it cracks. Masters, you are all welcome. I will even to it like French falconers. We'll fly at anything we see. Like let's try something. Let's try anything. This is gonna be fun. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. He's so excited. Hamlet, who's been so depressed and so sad, is now extremely happy to see all the actors. And he just rants and raves. He just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks. I heard thee speak a speech, but I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was not above once. For the play I remember, please not the million. 'Twas caviar to the general, meaning you gave this great fancy speech that most people, the regular people in the audience, didn't like, but for people who know good theater, it was very good, and I want you to do it for me. But it was, as I received it, and others whose judgments in such matter cried on the top of mine, right, people who are more important than I am, said it was an excellent play, well digested and seen, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there were no sallets in the lines to make the matter savor, no matter in the fray. I'm not doing all this is too much stuff. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas's tale to Dido. Aeneas is the main character, and Dido is the woman that he loves. 'Twas Aeneas's tale to Dido, and thereabout, it was especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. And then he starts quoting the speech to remind them what speech he's talking about. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast. No, it is not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. So he's trying to remember the speech. But what's really interesting, sorry, I got to kind of, all right, hold on a second. You have to wait here while I fix this. What makes the, it's hard, I can't hold on to everything. What makes the speech interesting what makes this scene interesting, I think, is to look at how much of this speech Hamlet has memorized. And I'll be talking about that in just a second. But he tries again. So this is Hamlet now at the top of page 15. And Hamlet says, the rugged piece, this is Hamlet quoting the speech. He says, I want you to do the speech. It begins like this. And he tries to do it at first, and he messes it up, and he starts again with a different word. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the knight resemble, when he lay couched in the ominous horse. That's the Trojan horse, if you know your ancient Greek mythology. Hath now his dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, because his face is covered in blood, because these are warriors that are, slaughtering people. Head to foot, he is now total gules, that's blood, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and empasted with the parching streets. beasts that lead a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and seized o'er sighs with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam, seeks. So, proceed you. And Polonius says, "Oh, good, well spoken, and with good account." And then the first player, this is the main actor, he continues the speech. So one thing that's interesting to keep in mind is that Hamlet is a prince, and he's supposed to be doing a lot of important prince stuff, like, I don't know, running the country or whatever. I mean, he should be thinking, he should have taken, I mean, well, you may think he should have taken over when his dad died, and that's a little complicated. But he didn't take over when his dad died, the uncle took over. But Hamlet should at least be thinking about being king someday. It's fascinating to me that he's more interested in the actors than he is in being king. He's so interested in actors and acting in plays that he just memorized that whole speech. Like, why does he have that committed to memory? He loves theater. He loves art. He loves this stuff. It's very fun for him. And he wants that, so he gets the player to give a whole speech here. Anon he finds him. This is the continuation of the speech that Hamlet started the speech here, and then the actor remembers the rest of it. He's going to finish it for him. Anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal match to Pyrrhus at Priam drives, and rage strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. So it's about killing a father. Then senseless Ilium, that's the city, seeming to feel the blow with flaming top, stoops to his base, and with hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus's ear, because the whole city starts to collapse during the war. Like the moment he kills the king, the whole city starts to crumble. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky because he has white hair, milky head of Reverend Priam, that's the king, seemed to stick in the air. So as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. This is a really important point. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. Isn't that exactly what Hamlet's doing? Hamlet likes the story because it reflects his own life. He is supposed to kill an old king, Claudius, and he doesn't do it. So it's like, in this character in the play, his sword sticks in the air. He pauses for a second before when he's about to kill the king. Hamlet spends most of this play pausing. He doesn't kill the king when he's supposed to. So already an interesting thing happens, which is Sidney says that literature is supposed to kind of inspire you to action. And here you can see Hamlet is trying to use this. Why, of all the speeches in the world, why did he pick this one? Because he's in the same situation as the guy in the speech. Pyrrhus is supposed to kill the old king, and Hamlet is supposed to kill the old king. And Pyrrhus hesitates for a second. Hamlet's been hesitating. So he's clearly wants to use the story to move him to action. But Hamlet's problem is he's so depressed that any action is just kind of dissolves and he can't quite do it. All right, but as we often see, against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. Even in a big storm, there may be a pause. And then the storm starts again. So after Pyrrhus's pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammer fall on Mars's armor, forged for proof etern, with less remorse than Pyrrhus's bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune, all you gods in general synod, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven as low as to the fiends. And Polonius says, this is too long a speech. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking the same thing. The point is that Pyrrhus in the ancient Greek tragedy, in ancient Greek history, I guess, is able to sort of kill the old king. And that's the problem Hamlet's having. So Sidney says that art is supposed to inspire you to action, and Hamlet is going to find the fictional character that's most like him in sort of famous poetry, to try to see if will that inspire him to action. And it's not, it's Hamlet, so it doesn't work. But the point is he's trying to do what Sidney says art is supposed to do, which is use it, he doesn't ask whether the story is true or not, but he's trying to use it to inspire him to action, to do the right thing. And it doesn't work, but the point is he's trying Sidney's thing here. All right, I'll pick it up in the next video.